Right, shalom, I give no praise and unto about you, myself, as you call Kodash. The bonus and the apostles a great millstone, and I honor you, brothers, that be pushing this truth in sincerity for the four corners of the earth. The Bible, everybody coming out here to give this truth for the grace and mercy of Yahweh. Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Kodash. Giving no praise unto Bashim Shai, Bashim Kodash. Yeah, I just wanted to make this quick video. The elder posted these images that you see here, which are pretty funny images, but unfortunately, this is the reality of the conditions that we find ourselves in. Pursuant to the scriptures, the scripture says, they which lead thee have caused thee to err. And compounding upon that, we see there's many scriptures that describe the condition of our women, namely the Negro, Hispanic, and Native American women. And certainly these are some exceptions, although there may be few exceptions, but certainly there are some exceptions. But the exception doesn't make the rule, okay? And for the vast majority of us, these are the women that are around us. These are the women that raised us, okay? And that has created a very toxic environment for the Native American, Negro, Hispanic, and Native American men upon the face of the earth, okay? Which is an environment of contention, okay? And we don't condone this energy. We don't condone the Big Shirley energy. We don't condone the bad B energy. As a matter of fact, when we read the scriptures, we see a woman supposed to walk with a certain level of, femininity. That's certainly a word that comes to mind as I try to recall the scripture. The scripture talks about how that she's supposed to be dressed modestly, right? She ain't supposed to be speaking out there within the church. She's supposed to be in order. As a matter of fact, the scripture says the man is supposed to be the head of the household. And that's certainly not what we see across the Negro, Hispanic, and Native American households, with the caveat being amongst the Latin-speaking tribe, you still got some semblance of family structure and culture. But certainly Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, our family structure has been totally destroyed. It's been socially designed to be so, to where our women have to wear these crazy clothing, right? Where it shows the imprint of their camel hoof, their camel toe, okay? You got the blonde hair streaks, right? Multiple kids from different partners, right? And it's a mess, okay? This proud attitude, right? The unwillingness to be humble, okay? Let me see if I can read this one. Only in America, where a woman can cheat on a man for working too much, but be faithful to a Negro in jail. And again, like I said, these are comical images, but they say something about comedy. They say it's food for thought, and this is funny and it's comical because it's the reality of what we've experienced out here. This was part of our hell, okay? This is a part of our condition of the battle. This is part of the punishment that the Most High bestowed upon us. This ain't nothing to be proud of, right? You got these fat, overweight women, right, speaking derogatory to the men of their own nation. That's a terrible symptom of a virus of disobedience. Okay, the virus that we consumed was the virus of disobedience, and the result, okay, of what we got as a result of being disobedient is this: Big Shirley raising us up. Big Shirley raising us up, man. And you know what? Being raised up by Big Shirley, it's a terrible place to be in. You see it and experience it. We've experienced it. I've experienced it. It's a terrible place to be in. Right? Kids grow up with lower self-esteem. They grow up messed up in their heads. And as a matter of fact, when you read the Willie Lynch letter, they socially engineered it to where she's going to raise our kids backwards. So the females are going to be more masculine, and the masculine, the boys was going to be very feminine. And that's why you see over externally aggressive males that have the emotional, right, maturity of a teenage girl. What do you think the gang violence is all about? Okay, what do you think all of this gang violence that you see amongst the Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans is all about? That's all comes off of the back of a Big Shirley. Okay, as a matter of fact, the higher the concentration of Big Shirleys are, the more likely you're gonna see, right, some terrible bad seeds, man. You're gonna see a lot of that, man. And obviously, the prototype to Big Shirley is the bad bee, right? The bad bee turns into Big Shirley. Okay, or maybe she keeps her shape for a certain dispensation of time and she tries to over leverage that on the sexual marketplace. But the reality of the situation is that, man, it's been socially engineered to be over sexualized, overweight, right? Just contentious, right? Demon. And the scripture talks about how that I'd rather dwell, right, with a house I'd rather dwell in a house that's got a dragon in it than a house with a contentious woman. That lowers your testosterone levels, man. That lowers your sense of well-being. And you know, you realize once you've been around a cool chick that's just cool, man, your sense of well-being goes up. Okay, it's like a freeing effect. You know, you've been in a relationship with a woman that's contentious and a demon, right? And you get away from her and you just be by yourself, or you be with somebody that's better. That's a very freeing experience, okay? Very freeing experience. So we're through out here, we're done out here, and we hope for a better day when we don't have to come home to our aunties that look like this, all right? Or come to a home where your auntie, she looks like this, or grew up in a home where auntie looks like this. Excuse me for slipping my tongue. I didn't phrase that really the best, but your auntie looks like this, your grandma looks like this, your mom looks like this, okay? If she's delusional, she speaks and talks like this. Your sisters talk like this, right? The women of your own community talk like this. You know, I didn't want to say you come home to this, because really, if you're around this, then you got to get away. Like the scripture says, you got to cut that arm off, man, because it's not going to be conducive for the truth. Now, obviously, if it's a situation that you could finesse for the truth's sake, then okay, it's cool. But we're done out here, man. So excuse that little rant. I didn't really have nothing to do a video on, so I said I'll just rant instead, and hopefully it's of edification. With that, I'm gonna say, "Oh, praise the Lord, the bonus unto the apostles of great millstone, and our honesty brothers will be pushing this truth in sincerity." Shalom.